Alright. Good morning, welcome to Camp Race League Day. I was going to make a bit of an update video, so this actually would have been a redo of a video I made Monday and never posted because, I felt like it wouldn't really make sense to post it just yet. Also, I did want to talk about, me trying out doing the BMR Season 8. I definitely had that, urge to get that a little bit more worked on to get started, and kind of deciding what I'm going to do there really for that whole season, just so that way I can get that season through whenever I do it. And then this morning, my Spotify Wrapped came out, and that ranks all your most listened music and everything if you have Spotify account like I do, and everything like that. And it got me thinking, who were the top 10 CRL drivers in 2024? So going into this year, honestly, every year I kind of do have a ranking for the best drivers every single year in the CRL, even back in the BMR era. I mean, I did like top 10 overall, like drivers all time, some points in BMR era. Funny enough, like I did that twice actually. I think every 3 seasons I did it. But yeah, so in this morning, I kind of went through my wins I had, and I looked a little bit more at like some of the top tens and stuff, just seeing like who would have won every kind of battle within the top tens polls. It's kind of like the NASCAR awards. They give the awards for who's the best in certain categories, and I mean, I already kind of knew some of the categories anyway going into this of who was really good where and everything in CRL for this year. And yeah, so in this video, I'll kind of go over the top 10 drivers, and what I'll do is I'll actually show their 2025 scheme because every driver in this list is a 2025 driver. And I think whenever I'll probably post like the pictures later on my socials and stuff, like Facebook and everything. Even though it'll get ignored and no notifications on the post, just like showing like the cars I guess they mainly ran good in for 2024 that I have on in 2003. But yeah, with that out of the way here. So I guess we'll go and get into here and we'll look at your top 10 drivers in 2025 in the CRL overall. So 8 of the drivers ran every single season, and only 2 of them ran in 3 of the series because they did not run in the first series in 2024. I will also give a note too that any of the drivers that did start out in the X series or ran part of the Cup schedule, they will be eligible for Best New Driver next year, since they didn't really get to run the full year this year. But like the 2 returning drivers, they raced before too, obviously. So I guess making obvious of who those they are, but we'll see where they are in the list. So where do we start with the top 10 drivers in 2025? So we actually start with one of the main YouTube accounts, and is Cam Spinner, and he'll be in number 31 next year. Mainly drove the 13 Exalted Cup Series. Cam Spinner won 2 races this past year. A little lower of a year, I'll say honestly, from his 2023 campaign in the CRL and even his 2022 one. I think 22 was his best year overall in the CRL so far. But yeah, Cam Spinner, 2 career wins this year added on. A win in the Exalted Cup Series at Kansas, and a win in the CRL 2000 at Dover, where he won that race, beating out Jalen Turner at the end of that one. So Cam Spinner overall in the points finishes wasn't really that great. That's kind of where he fell back into points. Had a 12th place finish in the Ultimate Cup Series, 6th place in the 2000 season. That was his best points finish in the year. Not his best career one. I think his best career one was 5th, maybe in the the X series I did back in 2022 in the stop motion racing. He also had a 17th points finish in year-long format. That was his worst points finish. And it had a 16th place finish in CRLX. But that CRLX season was also really competitive as well. I'll give a note there for Cam because it was a really strong season. But yeah, that's where your 10th place driver ended up in the rankings based on all the points and stuff on that season. So going to number 9, and number 9 is actually your best new driver in 2024, and that is Emma Bartlett. She's already kind of being noted as possibly a dark horse contender next year for championships. But yeah, Emma Bartlett, probably one of the best Ford drivers too this past year, and she ended up getting her first 2 career wins. Both were in the CRL 2000. Didn't really get to run well in the Exalted Cup Series season. Actually, her Exalted Cup Series season and her X Series seasons were both outside top 10 points finishes, with an 18th place and a 14th place. And she had 2 7th place finishes in the CRL 2000, where she won her first 2 races at Las Vegas and Charlotte. And had a 7th place finish in a year-long format. Also easily being the Rookie of the Year over there as well, giving Emma the best new driver in 2024. Definitely a very strong campaign for her this past year. And I'll say definitely the sky's going to be the limit for Emma next year. We'll see what she can do in the field. Of course, I think this field will be really competitive next year once again, and we'll see what she can do there. But yeah, Emma Bartlett, your best new driver and she'll be number 9 on this list going into 2025. So then number 8, you actually have a Campbell Racing Incorporated driver for next year, LaTonya Gray. She is one of the 2 drivers that made returns this year. And LaTonya, definitely a very good return year. And I honestly thought at some point it was going to be a championship somewhere for her this year. Definitely should have been some more wins too, honestly. LaTonya Gray, 3 wins on the season. She was definitely contended for the 2024 Cup title. I was about to actually read what I wrote for Emma there as best newcomer, but she wasn't even a newcomer this year. LaTonya also got her winless drought for 2021 broken by winning the 2024 Coke 600 with a points finish of 11th in the CRL 2000 season, where she also won at Charlotte. 4th place in the Cup Series. That is her overall best career points finish right now. And she placed 10th in the CRLX and with the number 97 team. Honestly, should have won a race or 2 there, but wasn't really able to get lucky there in that one with how dominant Caleb Campbell was this year. But yeah, LaTonya Gray, definitely a great year for her. And honestly, I see a championship in the future for her, possibly, and maybe in one of these series next year. Could be in the Cup Series, who knows, or in 2025 Cup. But we will find out. Though, but LaTonya Gray, number 8 on this list, as she had a really good year this year in 2024. So then up next, you actually have her friend from out west as well, Kay Summers, the other driver who returned in 2024, breaking winless driver 2021, getting 5 wins this year. You know, she was also, I'll give a note, really strong at Atlanta Motor Speedway on any of the Atlanta tracks. I would definitely say she's going to be a threat on those tracks. And definitely another driver who can be a championship threat next year. Great comeback year for Kay Summers, getting top 10 in the CRL 2000 and in the year-long format. And that year-long format top 10 was also Legacy Motor Club, by the way, in the 42 car, along with the win at Watkins Glen, too. And she placed 6th in the CRLX. I think that would be her best career points finish overall in the CRL. And she also won 2 races there as well, both on Atlanta as well. She was also runner-up to Caleb at Atlanta in the Cup Series. And I believe she was also running William Bales, too, at Atlanta, too, in the Cup Series as well. But Kay Summers, great year for her. And let's just see who's going to end off the first half of this list. And it will be Jace Turner, who was one of the best drivers, definitely top 3 last year. Had a bit of a fallback year, honestly, although his points finishes actually don't say that. Jace actually had a really solid year in the finishing department. Actually, the top 6 drivers were all really good this year. So yeah, they all definitely have some arguments for the top 6 of possibly being better or lower in this list. But yeah, for Jace Turner, he had 6 wins last year, had 2 winless seasons though that did kind of hurt him in the year-long format and in the Exalted Cup Series there. However, he did get 3 wins in the CRL 2000 and in the CRLX, including contending for 2 of the championships in both of those series. And, contending for 1 of the championships. Actually, sorry, I was reading Will's list right there. But yeah, he also had a points finish of 4th in the Exalted Cup Series. 2nd, he was the runner-up to Jalen Bales' CRL 2000, by the way. 9th place in the year-long format, and he was top 5 in the CRLX at the end of that season. Jace Turner is still a very solid year, but yeah, he also ended up being 6th here. Seemed like it's a bit of a fallback year. That just means maybe Jace will be really strong next year in his 27 car. We'll find out. Or even in the truck series. He could go for the championship there, honestly. But yeah, Jace Turner definitely still had a solid year. And let's see who starts out your top 5. And your top 5 is actually next in the numerical order of these cars here. William Bales, a very good year for him. 6 wins as well, just like Jace Turner did. He contended for 2 of the championships. He contended for year-long format against Caleb Campbell and CRL 2000 in both those series. He also won the Southern 500, had a big win at Atlanta Motor Speedway as well to be able to contend easier for the Cup Series 2024, but it didn't really pan out in the end, unfortunately, for William Bales. But yeah, still a very good year for Will, though. Getting a points finishes of 10th in the Exalted Cup Series, 3rd place in the 2000 season. Of course, that runner-up in the Cup Series, and he was actually 8th in the CRLX season as well. William Bales, definitely a good year, and I think he can make a run for a 2nd Cup title or 2nd CRL title overall next year. I do think he can make a run for one. We'll just have to wait and find out. And I know doing the diecast series a little bit too. He might go for a championship there as well, honestly. We'll find out. But yeah, anyway, William Bales, still a very solid year in 2024. So now you have your 4th best driver, and it's actually your Daytona 500 winner, Braden C. So Braden actually still had a very actually quietly solid year for where he finished in the points, honestly. With those 7 wins, like I mentioned, the Daytona 500, he was able to hold off Cam Spinner, and Connor Jacqueline to get that race win. Yeah, and he placed 6th place in the Exalted Cup Series season. 5th place in the CRL 2000. He also won it all but the CRL X season, by the way. 6th place in year-long format in the 48 car. He was having that Alex Bowman luck in some races, though, too, with getting the wins. But, I mean, still a great year for Brady C in general. And, yeah, he was also 7th. That was his worst points finish in the CRL X. Yeah, 6th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's actually really strong and really consistent. But, I mean, not go for the championships, but, the top 4 drivers, or top 3, I mean, they were really the class of the field in 2024, and they might once again be the class of the field next year again. We'll have to wait and see, though. But yeah, Brady C, definitely very good year for him. And I do think, just like William Bounds, he could get that 3rd career championship next year. I mean, he had some shots this year, last year, definitely. But we'll definitely see next year. I think Brady C will grab a 3rd championship in the CRL. So then starting off your top 3, you have the oldest of the 3 Turner siblings, Jalen Turner. And honestly, this should have been the year where she got her first career championship, but it was too little too late in some of the series here. But anyway, 9 wins on the season. She was also very consistent, although she wasn't the most consistent driver in the points finishing category. She was up there going for wins, running. She actually had, I think, the most top 3s this year, actually, among all the drivers. That's something to note in there. Most podiums for Jalen Turner this year. But yeah, like I said, still a very consistent year. Although her X Series championship points finish does not show that, her other 3 points finishes do, with a 3rd place in the Exalted Cup Series. Should have won the championship there too, but wasn't able to get it there late. 8th place in the CRL 2000. I thought she ran better at the end, but I guess some of the races at the end of the season definitely hurt her in the points. 5th place year-long format. She also was very strong consideration for championship. Honestly, the top 5 there were all consideration for the championship. So yeah, Jalen Turner was still very strong there at the end of that season. And then, of course, that 13th place kind of brought her back, but I still kept her 3rd here because of how good she was this year overall in the other 3 series. Yeah, Jalen Turner definitely had a very good year, and I'm definitely keeping my eye on her to contend for a championship. If Jalen Bounds does not win year-long format, or Cale Kim does not win year-long format next year, I see this number 20 car being the champion at the end of that season. Of course, barring the game one screw over, a lot of stuff like that too. But yeah, Jalen Turner, I think definitely should end up getting her first career championship next year. So then you have your runner-up in 2024, and it is no surprise Jalen Bounds. And honestly, if you take away a lot of Caleb's dominance and give him still some of those pretty good wins, you can make the argument for Jalen Bounds being the best driver in 2024 without a doubt. 15 wins on the year, 2 more championships add on to her career, and she was the most consistent driver overall in the points finishing. Actually, also, she had the most top 10s this year as a driver. Jalen Bounds, of course, winning 2 championships in the Exalted Cup Series and the CRL 2000, getting 3rd place in the year-long format with a very good year there, once again with 4 wins on that season. 2nd most to Cale Campbell, by the way. And she was also runner-up in the CRL X to Cale Campbell, too. Jalen Bounds definitely was one of the best drivers this year. Like the 2nd place driver, definitely the 2nd best driver this year. And arguably, like I said, could have been the 1st place driver this year as well. Great year for Jalen Bounds overall, and unfortunately, she is the runner-up to you-know-who here in this list. But yeah, definitely a great year for Jalen Bounds. And like I said, without doubt, she's going to go into the 2025 Cup Series Championship as the odds-on favorite. But can she win it, or will someone else beat her for it? We'll have to wait and find out next year. But yeah, Jalen Bounds, definitely a very good year for her, though, in 2024. And I guess without further ado, let's get to your number 1 driver. And it was the Lone Ranger, Caleb Campbell, the man himself, who dominated 2024 with 46 wins, 2 more championships added on to his already impressive championship winning record. And also, I guess, adding on the crown jewels there, a Brickyard 400 when he actually swept the Brickyard and Homestead in 2024 as well. A very big year for Caleb Campbell overall. He was runner-up in the Exalted Cup Series, Jalen Bounds. Ended up being 4th in the CRL 2000. I should know he did not run at Richmond in that season. So yeah, Caleb could have, honestly, probably could have gotten the championship if he ran Richmond, but we'll never know because I don't want to rerun the race and have Brady C not win that race. Yeah, and ended up winning the year-long format once again, getting a 6th Cup Series title there. And he also won the CRL X title very easily over the rest of the field. And Cale Campbell ended up being your number 1 driver in 2024. And, it's definitely deserving with how strong he was. Definitely a very dominant year. Definitely set the record for most years of single season as well. So 2025, I am not sure what's going to happen with Caleb in this year. Of course, he'll still be racing around. Will he be up there winning a lot of races? Possibly. Will he be up there winning the championships? We'll have to find out. But anyway, that'll do it for your list of your top 10 2024 CRL drivers. Definitely a very good crowd here of drivers that had very dominant years overall. And of course, the main one right on top, the king of the CRL, Caleb Campbell, right there on the top once again. For the second year in a row, should know as well, Jace Turner was the number one driver back in 2022. But yeah, Caleb, he has just been on another level these last 2 years in CRL. Definitely had a big comeback last year to win his first Cup title in 8 years. And he kept it running here. And we'll just have to find out if in 2025, if Caleb can stay on top of the mountain, or if like Jalen Turner, Jalen Bounds, Brady C. Heck, William or Jace get up there as well, or maybe another driver too. But we have to find out. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. I'm going to go and get off the game here and sign out for the video. And it's Caleb Cameron signing out. Thank you all so much for watching here in this one today. And I will see y'all in the next one, probably in that update video, or in the video I'll make for what that update would have been for, or when we open the season back at start of January with the shootout for the 2025 championship season for all 4 series being ran. Anyway, I will see y'all in the next one.